everybody. Wow. Look at this. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Lisa.
Oh.
Hello.
Who's this? Hi, Tammy.
Hi.
Everybody meet Tammy.
Hello.
Yeah, she's our special guest today. We're going to have Roman up here. Hopefully he shows up. He's running behind. So, wow, what a show we have. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. What a day down here.
It's beautiful today.
Yeah. So, Tammy, now she does a podcast, right?
I don't do a podcast. I do business coaching. So I teach online.
Oh, it's not a live thing. So,
Yeah.
so you have a website. So can anybody sign up for this class?
They can go to my website. It's just tammyzerac.com.
Oh, okay. That's your name.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. Melanie we'll type that up.
Okay.
In a little while. Because you don't know how to spell her last name, Melanie.
Zurak.
There you go. There you go. So it's tammyzerac.com, and that's where you sign up. And what do you teach?
I teach how to build a business and a brand.
There you go. Wow, cool.
Yeah.
A brand.
Yeah.
You called it a brand. That's a YouTube brand.
Yes, I specialize in personal branding. So.
Yeah. Cool. And it looks like Melanie's got a new foster. She just muted herself because her other dogs are making noise. And look at that beautiful dog coming up behind Lisa. Wow. Wow. So she's talking to her other dogs. So now we can see here in Tammy's camera.
Yep, there she is.
That there's a coned head dog back there. Why is she wearing a cone?
She just had her spay, and we also did gastropexy on Thursday. So
What's a gastropexy?
Gastropexy is when because Pyrenees are prone to bloat. If you have the opportunity to, when they're having the spay done, they're already open. So they go in and they make like a belt loop on the stomach and they tack it to the side wall, if you want to call
the
it.
Abdominal wall.
Yeah. So they basically tack it so it doesn't have that opportunity.
And the stomach can't flip.
Right. So it's not 100%, but it's a significantly larger opportunity to prevent that from happening. So we went ahead and tried to prevent future problems that way.
Yep. So, because bloat and the stomach flipping are actually two different problems, okay? They can still get bloat, but man, they got such a better chance of survival now, okay? And hi, Katrina. How you doing? It's nice to see you here. Thank you for supporting. Hi, Lori. Lori's the Newfoundland lady and Pyrs. She's the one that likes to live a balanced life, 2 and 2, right? 2 Newfies and 2 Pyrs. Or is it 3 and 3? I don't remember now. And wow, she loves your hair, Melanie.
Thank you.
How about that? So, wow, we got us a good show. But we also have, we're going to cover a GPRS dog that a foster. And, but we're going to cover it because Foster couldn't be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
While you are doing that, we've got pictures uploaded, Melanie, of Willa.
We do.
Myself and sign out, and I got to fix this cable connection because I'm only connected at 100 MPS, and that's going to cause me to freeze up. Is that fair?
Sounds good.
All right, so you guys have at it, and we'll talk. You two can talk about Willa, and me and her will be right back. All right.
So, Lisa, what can you tell us about Willa?
We're going to introduce Willa to you. She is a 6-month-old Pyrenees, and I think you can see in the pictures here in her back feet, she has double dew claws. She lives in the state of Washington. Her foster is there. Her foster is a longtime foster and an experienced Pyrenees foster with Great Pyrenees Rescue Society. Willa is described, she's still a puppy at 6 months. So you see, she has the puppy behaviors, but she has had an excellent foundation with training as far as she does great with other dogs. She has started leash training and she is walking very well on a leash. Potty training, almost completely potty trained. And then she's described as very loving and affectionate. And a unique characteristic, I guess, for me in knowing Pyrenees is that she loves water.
Okay.
So she's available in the Pacific Northwest, like I said. She is, because she is a puppy, one of the couple requirements that GPRS has. So one would be having a fenced backyard. But the other requirement for her, because she still is a young pup, she's going to need a mentor dog. And so she would require a family that has a playful resident dog to help her.
Very good. Do you know at all if she's been exposed to cats or different size dogs or anything like that?
I know, I believe it's different size dogs, but not cats at this time.
She's really pretty.
I wasn't here, so and I missed it. How old is she?
She's just turned 6 months.
She's a puppy.
She's still young. Yep. Yeah.
That rules out Tammy and Jeff, she just said.
Me too. I get it.
Oh, Lori's 8-month-old Pier loves water too, so maybe it's not as rare.
Yeah.
And some Pyrs do. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. They're allowed to love water.
So this one, she's in the Pacific Northwest and is with Great Pyrenees Rescue Society. So if you're looking for your own little puppy to have at 6 months, I always like Pier puppies because their energy is not quite the same as like a lab of 6 months. So
yeah,
it's the right amount of energy.
Here with Coco, that just reaffirmed why I love puppies from 1,000 miles away. She's a good girl.
Oh, she's something.
And it helps being with an experienced foster, that she's had some of the foundation's been started with the potty training and the leash, you know, that for somebody, the family that takes her over to continue that training. You don't have to start fresh with with that. So she can integrate into your home and continue.
Because they're doing the hard work now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, by now, 6 months old, hard work's just about done. Now you just got to give them necessary knowledge to be just a good pet that you want them to be.
Yeah.
Be a good companion. Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yes, she is.
Wow. She is gorgeous. All right. Okay. I don't know where Roman is. I'm sure he'll be here. He said he would. He will be. So we're going to move on. Oh, Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. That's where Willa and a lot of other dogs are. Okay. Yep. So I'm not wearing a rescue show shirt today. I'm wearing an old style Indie Great Pyrenees Rescue shirt because that's where you adopted from, huh?
This is true.
Okay. So I happen to have one. I don't have a new one, but I got my old one, and you get the point. All right. So who do you have here? Who'd you adopt first? Not her.
Oh, first. So first was Riley. And then we got, let me think about this. We got Willow because we felt like Riley needed a friend and they were great friends. And then we adopted, Riley was not quite as active as Willow. Willow was very active. So we thought Willow needed a friend that would be more active. So we adopted Griffin. So we had 3 at once for a while. And then Riley passed. He had a tumor in his liver, and we found it after it was too far along. So we just had Griffin. Well, and their pictures are behind. So the one that's kind of off screen above my head. There.
Well, here,
that's Willow.
Behind me. Here we go.
Okay, there we go. So the one on your, that one, the other way.
Oh,
the one on your one shoulder, the lower one is Riley, and the higher one, my husband is a portrait.
Her husband painted these.
Yeah.
These are oil paintings.
Yeah, and so the higher one is Willow, and these are a few years old now, but we had those two were the.
And who's this one?
And that is Cooper, who.
Oh, that's your current one.
Yes, who we have. He's out in the hall because Coco was not wanting to play friendly.
Because Coco needs a hand.
Coco was like, I want to be the only star of the show today.
And who's the one that's in the cone?
And that's Coco. Hi, Coco. Hi, Coco.
For Roman's sake, hi, Roman.
Hi.
For Roman's sake, she got spayed on Thursday, and they did what do they call that?
Gastroplexy.
Gastroplexy, attached where she can't flip her stomach if she gets bloated. So we're a little limited on what we can do, but I am learning a lot. Okay. So you have some behavior issues with her,
We do.
and which is why I'm here. Is that why?
Well, yes, we've had several sessions, and the not seeing it, trying to see it through Zoom wasn't
Right.
wasn't the
They
full
weren't.
experience.
We were failing on virtual. Okay. And I had to see what was going on. I couldn't see the entire dynamic the way it needed to be seen. Now I have. And these are experienced people. They are experienced peer owners, and they couldn't find their way through this. So what is she doing?
So we adopted her. She was 7 months in rescue. She was at a rescue. She got dropped off. The background story is she was with a young couple, and they apparently split up, and the girl had her and dropped her at the Indy, what do they call that? The regular rescue, the animal shelter.
Oh, the shelter. Okay.
Yeah, she dropped her at the shelter, and 2 weeks, somewhere right after that, Jane picked her up. Jane at Indy Great Pyrenees Rescue got her out of there, and she put her into foster. She was in foster for 2 weeks with a family that had a Tibetan Mastiff and
Cool.
and another dog who I don't know much about, but she was showing, apparently we didn't know this till the day before we were already scheduled to go and pick her up, but she apparently had some aggression issues with food with them, but not to the degree to which that we have had. But day one we brought her home, and we're used to, we take our dogs out at lunchtime, they come in, they get a treat. She came in, sat down. We also have a pit mix who we adopted into.
Best dog in the world.
Oh,
Dude,
he's
Scout.
amazing. He was he was abandoned at the shelter, our local. We live 3 blocks from the city shelter where we live in Tennessee, and he came to our house. It's a kind of an interesting story, I guess, but he showed up one weekend with a buddy, and we kept them overnight because the shelter was closed. He actually had a chip, so they called the owners. They took him back, and then a week later, he showed up behind our house, behind our fence, and
Scout did?
Scout did.
Okay.
Yeah, and we thought he was a deer because he's brown, and we have deer out behind our fence. We have every other slat so we could see through, and we're like, why is there a deer out back? That's that small. And turns out it was Scout. And we took him back to the shelter. They called the owner, and I said, if something happens, let me know. Sure enough, 4 o'clock that afternoon, they called and said, yeah, he's surrendering him and not the other one. So we decided to adopt him because he was just as sweet as could be. And they said he was around 10. So he'll be heading into 11 here soon in October. So we had the two of them. Well, they both came in first day and sat down for their treat. And I didn't know that she was going to have the reaction she did, but I gave them each a treat. Everything was fine. The next thing you know, she was trying to attack him. So that was day one.
That was day one.
That was day one.
Now, I want to back up just for a second.
Yes.
Every dog you've ever had have either come from a shelter or a rescue.
Always, yeah. We'll never got one not from a rescue. Yeah.
Okay.
So that these dogs aren't broken,
Right.
Because dogs don't break.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we actually decided that the irony is because all the 4 other Pyrenees that we have, we adopted them. They were at least a year or 2 years ish old. We thought, well, let's get a puppy because maybe we can teach them early on. They won't have as many challenges, and she's by far the most amount of things. She has a little bit of baggage. So.
How old is she
Well,
now?
how old is she?
11. She would have been based on the paperwork we got, she would have been 11 months on the 30th. So she'll be a year at the end of this month.
So if I understand you right, the question is, how do we deal with that type of resource guarding?
How did we deal with it?
Yeah, is that the question here?
Oh, no.
Oh,
the
okay.
question is just a generalized thing. I'm down here evaluating it, and she's got a little bit of baggage. I'm not convinced it's all about the food. Okay.
It's about stress.
Yeah, but what I saw a little bit earlier, she had dropped.
I dropped some kibble.
Yeah, she has a cup with kibble. That's her treats for in here is this kibble, and she was moving it up higher, and she banged it on the table, and it fell onto the floor. Onto the floor. If it's on the floor, it belongs to your peer. Okay, and so that created a problem. And when Cooper came in, she Dum Dum went to attack Cooper, and Cooper will take her down, but we don't want that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we don't want another trip to the vet for one.
Right. Right.
So that's the first time I saw it directed at food, except for one problem.
Okay.
We're in a small room
Get a big dog.
with only one entrance or exit. And I was thinking about sending her one. I got 2 decoy dogs. I was thinking about sending her one down. I should have
Yeah.
brought one with me, and I forgot.
Right. Right. See if somebody has in one of those pet stores as decoration.
I have a fluffy, like it looks like a golden retriever, but it's about
Perfect.
that
Got to
size.
be something you don't care if it gets torn up.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then she's
So what you
got
want to
one.
do
Okay.
is you want to
I
start.
didn't know that.
You want to start the sensitization and counter condition over distance, duration, distraction, feeding time, and slowly have the dog coming closer and closer, right? So
Okay.
at some point we want the dog to look at the dog and then look back at you.
Okay.
Look at the
That's what
dog,
we've been doing with the live dogs. But
right?
we need less. We need
Right.
some.
So
doesn't
what I
move,
believe there's a trauma happening here where she was earlier without pointing any fingers to anyone. It can happen before
Right.
the dog being surrendered. That he had
Yes.
negative experiences of having a dog next to him when it comes down to food. And if the dog, if I suspect being held in a kennel for a very long time as a puppy and not being properly fed, every time there is excitement and anxiety involved, the dog actually hits the belly.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And the resource cutting is kind of like a PTSD response to the exposure to stress. So I would say
Okay.
feed the dog more often, especially
Okay.
around stress. So add another meal in between, and you
Okay.
can use tallow. How you call that? The fat?
Lard?
Tallow fat.
The beef tallow. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
No,
give
yeah.
as a snack,
I don't know.
right? Because if you feed kibble, you have a high sugar content. The spikes goes up and down, and around
Okay.
evening time and around fooding time, the spikes go up and down. You want with the fat would keep them a little bit longer.
Okay.
That work flatter.
Oh, wow. That I didn't know.
What is
Okay.
the it's what
It's
is it? I didn't catch it.
Melanie is what? Were you the one that said what it was?
Well, it's fat. So beef tallow, or I said maybe lard. Lard's
Oh,
another word.
tallow. Okay. I don't know what that is. And we don't we don't actually eat meat, so I don't pay much attention to that. But
That's right.
I'm happy to get whatever it takes at this point to make it go away.
It looks like you can buy it from Academy. So
beef
Okay.
tallow. Write that down. I don't have a pen.
I
Oh, wait a minute.
remember.
That's
This is
human
being
grade.
recorded.
Yes.
You can actually eat it. It's human grade.
Okay. Okay.
How
And
much
what
do you
I
put
do
in?
is I take an antler and put it
Oh,
in there and have it
Okay.
as a snack as lunch. So she gets the fat
There you go.
content.
Okay.
And so we don't have the dog living on carbs, we're having the dog living on fat.
Okay. So right now we're having to feed her we
they have a 54-inch crate, and she spends too much time in there. The way their house is set up, she needs a room. So they've got that ability, and they're getting ready to do that in the same room that the crate's in right now. Why
Right.
is that? Why would that be?
well what we were
Why was that important?
Well-
Because she's used to that room.
originally when this first cropped up, we have a laundry room, so we were feeding her in the laundry room, and then we were kind of
Isolating away from the other dog.
right, and that was okay. And then Steve wanted us to try feeding her in the crate so she had her own space. But the challenge that we
I
have,
wanted her to be part of the family,
right,
instead of isolated in a laundry room.
right, and she's fine eating in the crate, but we have to lock the other dogs away. And when the other dogs come out, there's a ramp down period. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes, and she has to just sit in the crate, and you literally just walk by her with our pit mix is a Velcro dog, so he follows you wherever you are. The humans he follows, so we walk him. You just walk by and he'll follow, and if she reacts, we don't let her out in that time. But since she's had the surgery and they don't want her jumping and all the things, we just put her back in the laundry room, and that's going better.
Okay.
Now, there's also something else I saw, Roman. I saw the signals from the pit that triggered Coco. Okay.
Yeah,
You
because I think the
gotta
pit has
make
separation
sure
anxiety,
you're
and that
getting
adds to the
right
equation.
dog. What's that, Roman?
I think the pit has separation anxiety, and that adds to that neediness.
Yeah.
Very much. They put him in. The reason that they told the shelter they were abandoning him basically is I think he had to have been an inside dog, and they put him in the backyard. And the two dogs, it was another dog they were a year apart, and they separated the dogs. They kept one, but they also put him in the backyard, which he is not a backyard dog. He needs to be attached to humans. And he doesn't leave. He's my husband's dog. When my husband's here, he's literally on him everywhere he is. And when my husband's gone, then it's me. If I'm gone, then it's our Pyrenees, our big Pyrenees.
Cooper.
Yeah. So he has his own set of challenges at
And
this
the
point.
interesting part is if Coco goes to beat him up, he doesn't.
He
fight
doesn't
back.
go
He
away.
doesn't fight back, and he doesn't leave.
Yeah, he doesn't
He's
move.
not standing his ground. He's standing there and getting beat up.
Yeah.
Where is the Pyrenees biting the pit?
What was the question?
Where is the dog biting the pit?
She bit him. He's got a big chunk out of
So
his
in the
face.
face.
Not
Yeah.
the neck. Not the neck.
And he
Okay,
she
good.
tried to get him and got me. I've got a chunk out of my knee because I was between them. And when she went to grab his face,
Now that's not a chunk out of your knee. That's 2 puncture wounds.
It's
from her
three-
canine.
3 puncture wounds.
Three
But
Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm literally here. I kind of like, where is the rest of the knee?
Yeah, right. That's why I had to. That's why I had to clarify.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that was she got in the way. She was in
Yeah.
between them, and that would have been Scout.
It would have been
It
its
wasn't
face.
her. I
Right.
do agree with that.
Yeah.
But I also
I know you
believe
thought
that
about
this
it
is
already.
all-
I know you thought about things already. Just put it out there. We may eventually deal with post-surgery aggression. The dog is being on antibiotics, and that needs also treatment to fix the digestive system. As a result, the damage that does on the antibiotics in the system. And since we have
Right,
the gut-brain connection, we need to kind of heal the guts in addition to what you guys dealing with. And the
I didn't
confined,
hear. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the very beginning part of what you said.
the dog is being out from surgery,
Yes.
and the dog is being treated with antibiotics as well.
She's not on antibiotics.
She left surgery with no antibiotics,
They put her on whatever the pain meds are. The
carprofen
and
and tramadol.
yes, that's it. No
Okay.
antibiotics.
Good.
It wasn't doing everything, so they added what?
You
One
asked.
gabapentin.
Yeah, you thought-
milligram gabapentin.
See if that gabapentin would be good also, so we added that because we had some on hand.
And I think it has been. We'll see.
Okay. Still make sure the guts is healthy, because
She's on
guts.
probiotics, so that we thought that would, because she was having a lot of bathroom problems. So we decided to add, our other dogs are on probiotics, so we added those to them, and that seems to have helped things. So
Okay. And what food is she on right now?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What food is she on right now?
She's eating from the whitefish and potato, I think it is.
Is this the gold formula or the other one?
It is the black bag. I don't think it's the gold formula. I think it's the non-gold formula.
Okay.
Well,
Up it a little bit if you can. You want as much healthy protein as possible, as little carbs as possible.
Okay. So,
So-
did you say do the gold?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go higher up, but I think Fromm's is kind of a good beginning starter of healthy intent of feeding. I would call it
Okay.
food because the other one is not. And the rest is
Okay.
feed.
Okay.
Fromm's is the first beginner of food feeding the dog.
She
I
was
like that.
she
I
was
like that comparison.
and she was underweight when we got her, so very good chances she was not getting fed regularly.
Yeah.
And the foster that had her for 2 weeks said that she wasn't she didn't adjust well to whatever their dogs were on. So we slowly, I can't remember what they had, but we bought a bag and moved her over to what our dogs eat, which is the From. So you want us to put all 3 on the gold formula?
It will save you a lot of vet cost over years.
Okay.
So you have relocation stress. The dog has been through so many homes.
Right.
He's been neglected. So there's a
Right.
lot of trauma happening internally in the justice system. So every time she gets stressed, every time she thinks she's going to get stressed, it's going to hit her belly and she actually aches. Like you're cramping up. If you get, oh shit, I feel bad about it,
Yeah.
right? And you know what people do when they get stressed? They start snacking and eating and chewing on their nails, right? Her stress goes into food comfort. And what happens if somebody's there, if you're stressed and you need food for comfort and somebody wants that too? Right? So see that as a trauma response. Don't see that as a behavior.
Okay.
Okay, I want to check for questions real quick, and I want to check with our host. Okay, Lisa, do you have any questions for Roman so far?
I guess I have a couple of questions for Tammy. So is the behavior around all of the dogs?
Yes, but more to the pit mix than the Pyrenees. She will react to the Pyrenees as well, but the pit more so because he gets closer. He invades her territory a little too close.
Okay.
So Cooper, the Pyrenees, just walks away.
You know what we've done, Roman? We took some blue painter's tape and we drew a blue line around the crate at 3 feet, starting there, and both of those dogs are respecting that.
I would go to 6 feet.
We taught them the blue lines of fence, and it only took once, didn't
Right.
it? Yeah.
6 feet would be challenging based on the location. That only leaves a little bit of them. There's not really room. I can kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to
Rena
see it.
has a question.
Okay.
Good
Are
question.
they both males?
She's a female, Coco's a female, and the other two are males.
So male.
Yep, there goes same-sex aggression.
Right.
Rena, sorry.
Let's see if I have a picture. I think I do. I don't know if you can see this or not. We were in this
Your
camera.
camera, yeah.
So that is the location. I'm trying to see it without the glare there. So that there's a door on this side.
Right.
But you can kind of see the tape on the floor, and those are the other two dogs.
That's me laying in front of that crate.
Yep.
I'll be darned.
And the door that's the high traffic door to the backyard where everybody comes and goes to go to the bathroom.
Okay, can you put the crate somewhere else because it's high traffic, away from the high traffic?
We
Here's
can
what you can do. You can put a nice cover over it. Put your cover over it and put some flowers on top.
Right.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Can we move the crate in a less traffic area?
I mean, the only other spot we could put it would be in the living room,
And
but
it would be out of the family hood.
Right.
She wouldn't be part of the action or the family. That's the problem. The 54-inch crate's got a big footprint.
Okay. I mean, I understand the feeling. I'm a 1,200 square foot house, and that's the dog room here.
Yeah, that room you just saw will be her dog room, but that's still got a high traffic area. But you also have another section when it's needed to be traffic. You can give her another whole room, which is that kitchen area. The way you got to say it. We'll look at that.
okay.
We're still this is in progress right now.
It's a long house, so we have a lot of space we've got furniture and stuff. But we actually held off because we're going to get a puppy. We're going to buy new furniture for our living room. We have to they call it a hearth room here. So it's like the family room. That's where she's at. It's like a combination kitchen, family room. But then there's a living room, which we don't have much furniture in, so we could put her in there. And
and she also has a door to the backyard. And when we gate off of that other room also has a door to the backyard. That's why I felt that room was to go.
Okay, so maybe you can take some Home Depot fancy pipes and tees and connect them and kind of make a little partition to have the crate not be visible for the dogs passing by, because everybody's passing by.
That particular exit isn't required to be used, except for by humans.
right.
The dogs aren't required to go past that.
Okay, that works.
They got two other doors or another door they can go out of, right?
So you have to deal with separation anxiety, number one, because that's the root cause. Second root cause is the dog's trauma, which means we have to treat it long term. Secure attachment, feeling safe, consistency through food, eventually through supplements. I wouldn't do medication, but supplements totally work. Right? And then slowly. Good question. I have no clue. But I would highly recommend to talk to a veterinary homeopath who makes an assessment, or a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner who we'll take kind of the better understanding of the dog's idiosyncrasy and body type, and then put together a treatment plan, kind of with a process,
Okay.
right?
We
Because
have one of this.
perfect,
I can
because
ask.
you're dealing with a digestive trauma, and it may be the gallbladder involved as well. So we have an organ system dysfunction here, and that needs to be addressed. Because if you can work externally, but if you don't have internal support, it's not going to work very far. Right?
Right.
It's because the dog has been at home so many times. There's a lot of frustration involved
Right.
and
So
anger.
the cover, I'm sorry, I wanted to go because I'm not clear on what you're saying. If we move her into the living room and you said build a partition so the crate can't be seen as the other dogs are walking by.
That's if
Yes,
walking
Right.
by.
Okay.
That's why I said you have another door as an option. They
Right.
don't
because
have to
dogs
do
who are being attacked will stare at her, staring her down, like making sure
Right.
I'm not missing anything, and she
Right.
feels
that. Exactly.
excluded, already trapped in the kennel. That's reactivity. Like, what are you looking at, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And a blanket, like we have a blanket over the crate, but she can hear them and she smells them and she knows they're there. So she's been attacking the side of the crate anytime they walk by.
Yeah, the blanket's
Okay.
not the answer on that one.
So counter conditioning, desensitization of dogs passing by, and since Steve is there, you guys can work on that.
Yeah, but also now that's the only time. But here lately, what I've been noticing is all she's doing is tolerating the other time. She's not friends with them.
Well, she's friends
Been
when they're not
noticing
in that state. The pit
Well,
bull,
and I can't see the whole picture because she's just had surgery on.
right. Well, she and the pit mix play like crazy before the
Yeah,
bite.
yeah, they used to play like crazy. She can't let them play now, so I haven't seen that part.
Yeah, before the bite, they would. I mean, I have a video. I'm sure they play like. I mean, they would play all day long if you let them,
And
and
play and play and play and play and
and
play.
there was no problems until she bit. She had such a big chunk out of his face that we stopped the play because it needed to heal. So, but they
And
were.
what was it about back
The
then?
plaything, wasn't it? Wasn't that a plaything that he got injured on, or did it
We
turn
actually,
into-
I was out of town and my husband had put them in the backyard and he went to go get their food ready and we don't know. So
But
it happened.
there was food involved.
Right. Yes. It was
Oh,
at food.
so it was intended.
It was at food time. So like
Right.
here's a video. Let's see if I can.
If I'd known that, I would have uploaded it.
Yeah, sorry. I mean they're playing there.
That's Coco without
Yeah.
the phone.
And they're constantly playing. It's hard to see. It's weird.
She's beautiful.
But yeah, and I have a lot more video.
And one other thing, Roman, just so you know, she purchased this.
What is this for? It's the best book ever.
So
I have a whole library down
you
there.
realize that's the first time I've actually seen the paperback in my hands. I
Right?
send it to people, but I've never seen it.
Well, and
Yeah.
here's the three of them. Let's see if I can get them to come back. Oh, that one's not. I don't know if you can see the.
She'll make you big again. One of
Yeah. So they're
I'm trying
the
to.
three of
There it
them.
is.
I'm upstairs shooting over. So the three of them play, but they are friends. Sorry, I know it's kind of
I haven't seen that video.
yeah. So they will play together. It's just since she's bitten him that we were kind of separating them so that they wouldn't.
Well,
Because he had a
so
big
he could heal.
he had a big scab and it was pretty not great.
Mark has
I
a
would say since
question,
you're there,
and I
Steve,
will. If Mark's got a question. Have you had her thyroid tested? She's 11 months old, and chances are slim, but it doesn't rule it out. The vet obviously didn't see a reason, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
well, the problem is, sorry to intervene here. The problem is if you see a reason, it's already too late. If you see the symptoms, we already see behaviors that are suspicious.
Yeah.
And a dog chronic
None of this
stress is more
behavior-
likely to have hypothyroidism and immune disorders and problems that other dogs don't have.
Right. And we're not seeing anything over and above behavior on this.
Right?
But the thyroid test, and also too, the vets are pretty good at being suspicious. Hey, we need to test this dog's thyroid, maybe, and they didn't do that.
Well, I know from my wife, she told them she has a thyroid problem and she didn't test the thyroid problem, even though she was in the ER for it.
I know of dogs that had thyroid problems that didn't get tested. You're absolutely right.
Right.
But
So,
it's-
what they
it's
do is they do a
really-
overload tested, but we need to look T4, T3 radicals and the whole hypothyroid to hypothyroiding test picture,
it's expensive
and
test.
rather than green and yellow.
Yeah. What's that over your right shoulder there? What's that big old sign say?
This one or this one?
That's I think I said, what's that say? Hierarchy? Oh wow, the hierarchy of dog names. Hey, wait a minute. That's not right. Where's dominance at? Where's alpha at? I don't see
I threw it
that
away.
hierarchy. Oh, okay,
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
Because hierarchy and because dominance and alpha is not in the hierarchy of dog names, right?
Good. I think you got this under control. I like that.
So and I do use that. I says this is the hierarchy of dog names. Do you see dominance or do you see alpha in there? You know, because the alpha theory. Always remember, you're missing part of your title. It's the alpha wolf theory. That was what it was.
But
Okay?
it wasn't even right. It was that wolf
It
theory was
wasn't
wrong
right.
too.
The same man that published it is the one that debunked it, David Meach. Okay.
Right? Sorry, I was wrong. You kind of misinterpreted what I
That's what
said.
Hey, I was wrong because I've seen proof otherwise. And it turns out the alpha was a pair, mom and dad. It was the male and the female. Now, instead of alpha, what does that make them? Didn't that make them family animals?
They make
Mom
them
and dad?
parents. Ew, I said the word.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that was what debunked it. Okay. That's the beginning of what debunked it. And so there's a lot to that. It wasn't just that pulled out of the air. The same man that published it is the same man that debunked it. So there's a lot.
Well, the
going on.
problem is he doesn't have
Still
rights over his
active
book.
David's still active in his 80s at University of Pennsylvania, if I remember right. So very, very smart man. That's the man that studies wolves. So
He's the first one actually went in the field and dared to stay with the
Yeah.
wolves.
yeah. I think the original study was done out of Sweden or somewhere like that, wasn't
In
it?
Swiss, in a zoo.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So and he used a lot of that material. So,
And not many people
But
know
he
that a
agreed.
dominant hierarchy stems from ants.
Interesting.
Okay.
So anytime you talk about the alpha, that was wrong anyway. It was the alpha wolf theory, not alpha dog theory, not alpha pet theory, alpha wolf theory. All right. And so anyway, enough of that science crap, right? Because science got nothing to do with this, right, Roman?
So Roman,
Oh,
did you
no.
recommend we have that testing done?
The thyroid.
Well, the fact is, good to have a baseline.
Okay.
Okay. And if something changes, you have a reference.
Right.
I used to be a believer in the dog was too young until I saw a young dog that had thyroid issues.
Okay.
So no one's immune.
Right.
No dogs are immune.
I really
would be
appreciate.
surprised- Go ahead.
I really appreciate Tammy coming on and sharing this.
So do I.
We'll have this archived on YouTube. So Tammy, I appreciate you being vulnerable and putting
Why I
the.
wanted you on this week, Roman?
How long have you had her?
We got her on Memorial Day, so
Okay.
4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then into problem solving. What I heard Roman
right
say, talking about nutrition first for all of us as dog owners. I'm learning a lot. That's why I appreciate this. So hearing about the nutritional component first, and you're talking about thyroid testing, and then I heard a lot about
And
structure.
she's been doing very well on nutritional. Roman's fine tuning it.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome. And then the structure, the crate, the room where the dog lives. So maybe Roman or Steve can touch on. So what are next steps? Do you go back to, excuse
Yeah,
my
we're giving
ignorance,
her room.
when you integrate a dog, the leash back on, are you going back to that?
Well, ask Roman, why am I giving her a room to have instead of
Yeah.
a crate?
What's the next step or the next phase as they watch the dog
Okay.
in the environment?
Let's give a quick timeline. The first thing you're going to look for a dog who's just being relocated is to create a secure attachment relationship.
Yeah.
And that's so important that I wonder why we're not talking about that the first thing to do. The dog needs somebody to trust, somebody to feel reliable for, somebody to share his feelings, being sure that she's not getting punished. She's coming from a neglect situation. That's a trauma there, not being cared for. So she
Right.
doesn't know how care looks like and how she should feel about it.
Right.
For
Yeah.
her, people yelling and screaming and shut up and kicking the crate is kind of likely the possibility, right?
Yeah.
And so if the dog has to reevaluate what people are here for, and that's why now she's start bonding, but she has to bond healthy.
Okay.
Now, Tammy has another issue. She has a second dog who's not securely attached. She actually shows separation anxiety. And eventually, it seems like there's a survival relationship happening with her husband.
Right.
And that dog comes with so much neediness and so much drive because it's a terrier that the terrier with so much drive needs to be part of it and needs to figure things out. So he's a go-getter.
Yeah.
Now he's a go-getter, and the other dog is already so sensitive with care of that, and that is in conflict what she needs and what the dog needs. So two dogs have needs that feels from their perspective they're not met yet. And that's the conflict. That's the root cause of the issue. If they play together, everything is fine because they're not focusing on their needs, they're focusing on their social needs.
Right.
Great. That's right there, social needs, emotional and social needs. But if it comes to food, then we have PTSD response.
Yeah.
Right.
And if a person of care comes in, we all of a sudden we have relationship issues.
Yeah.
And that's why I say if you put a hierarchy of addressing those issues, secure attachment first, separation anxiety on one side, and feeling comfort and less stress on the other side. So we need the dog to start communicating. We need to clearly identify, and the dog should give us clear signals when he thinks it's going to hit the fan.
Right, and she does in
She gives side eye.
well, no, she gives other signals,
does.
but when it comes to this, they're very quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. It
So
can
you're
turn on
gonna-
its dime.
You're going to see the tail. So what you have to have a
Oh, yeah,
standard
she is.
procedure. What does the dog look like being happy? And take that as an image.
Mhm.
Okay? I don't see a tail up. I feel like the dog is not. If the tail is somewhere there, it's already concerning. Down there, it's a problem. What do the ears do? How high is the head in relationship to the body? How is the body, straight or bended?
Yeah.
How is the dog in relationship to me? Is the dog virtually blocking the other dog from passage? And so think of body language not being a 2D thing, what the ear does, but how the dog positions himself in the space in relationship to his relationship.
right. And one of the things I'm questioning that I just don't know right now, so I just got here yesterday morning. How much of it wouldn't be there if she hadn't just had surgery? Is this adding to it? Would there
I
be
don't understand the question. Can you speak it up again?
She had surgery Thursday.
That is definitely a factor. The post-surgery aggression is the default
I
thing
don't
happening
know
here.
how much of it is.
This is the same,
because
but this is the same behavior
it's the
regardless.
same behavior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think about the only thing this is doing is giving her shorter fuse is all.
Right.
With the surgery.
Right.
Well, and I can show I have an attack situation. My husband, we had done a session with Steve where we talked about the two treats, and my husband sort of did his own sort of two treats, and he accidentally dropped one. So
Yeah.
let me see if I can show you how this went, and you'll see that. And Cooper stepped in and saved.
Yeah,
Scout
this is
from
why
that
the
kind of
reason I say those exercises should only happen with one dog at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be one-on-one.
Up, did you hold on? Pull back. Sorry, I clicked. I wanted to pause it.
Okay, you want me to go back?
Oh, we can't
Yeah.
pause this.
I can
We
go
can't
back.
Pause it. When you want to pause, tell her to pause.
I want
Yeah.
to pause it when your husband walks away and the other dog looks back. There.
Yes,
This
right
is
there.
where it
Yeah.
starts.
Sorry, the light.
What do you
So
want to do?
he-
You want me to
so
stop it
he's-
and go back, Roman?
He's feeding them each, and he drops one right around in here,
Yeah,
and
go-
then
go
she
further
attacks
back.
him.
Move back a little bit, halfway back,
Okay.
and then pause it. I'm going to tell you a little bit forward, a little bit back.
Okay.
So your
I'll put my
husband walks
finger.
away from the back room.
Well, he hadn't given them the treat yet. He was just showing them that he had treats.
Further
Let me
back,
see if I can-
further back. Scroll back.
Further back.
Back,
Yeah.
further back. Go back to the beginning if you can.
Okay, here.
Okay, she's back in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Stop there.
Okay, stop right there. Stop.
You see the dog looking
See,
backwards?
that's a perfect stop.
This
There's
is where
your
it
first
starts.
sign right there. There's your sign.
What did you say, Roman?
This is where the dog looks backwards.
Yes.
There. And he looks at the other dog, telling me, "Don't dare coming over here because I'm working
Yes.
with dog right now."
Yes. And then my husband turns to give them treats again because he gave them one and it went well. So he came towards me where I was holding the camera, and then he dropped one right. Let's see if I get it. I can't see it. It's back. Oops, sorry. I went backwards.
Okay, get it
Yeah.
to where it is, and then show
Yeah,
it when
but I want you to kind of observe the interaction with the other dog, where the trigger comes in,
So he
where
gave one to
your dog,
Cooper.
right?
Now
That's already
he
too
gives
late.
one. He
This is
drops
already
it
too
right.
late.
Yeah, he drops it and then she attacks them.
Yeah, but that is too late.
yeah,
The
that,
dispute
yeah.
happened before the treat fell down.
Right. And so
The
she's
communication-
attacking the pit, and Cooper goes between. He basically stands over top of the pit to protect them.
Cooper
Right.
did amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
Tukume did great.
Wow.
Yes, he did.
Okay,
Well,
so
you don't
there,
get to
there
see
is
that
a
very often, do you, on this show? Okay, I lost it. I don't know how to get everybody back here because I went. There we go. So wow,
we have
what
to
a
pay
video.
attention to the settled signals that the Pyrenees gives
Yep.
and redirecting when those signals happens. When
Yeah.
your
So-
dog actually shows concerns about the situation because he feels triggered by it,
Right.
but at that point where he felt triggered, look back at you. Are you really coming over here while I'm working with Dad? And the other's like,
Yeah.
what's up?
Could be one-on-one.
Yeah, well, and that was in July, so we've learned a lot since then. That was
Right.
one of the early ons. We had a call with Steve on Zoom, and my husband decided to make it his own. Nothing wrong, he just said he went outside. What happened is he went outside and did it with them outside, and it went well. So he was like, look, let me show you, and he did it, and it went well and farther back. And then when he moved to me in Cooper, he wanted to give Cooper a treat, and that's where it all went wrong. And he
Right.
dropped it, and then the signals were already there, but we didn't know the signals back then. But now we know what
Right,
to look for.
Yeah, they're learning a
So
lot. And
I
they're
would
responding
definitely
very
get the
well.
dogs back integrated by taking them together for a walk.
Okay.
Well, they walk together.
Yeah, we walk every day
I
together.
went with them last
Okay.
night.
But she actually
And-
started now we're having problems with her coming in the door. Now after a
We're
walk,
working on that.
we walked through the front entrance, and she tried to attack. We were all on leashes, and she turned and tried to attack Scout. Everybody
right at the threshold.
at the threshold. So then the next day we took her all the way in, a good 12 feet away, and she was side eyeing him and tried to,
See why I'm down here? I couldn't. I had to experience the entire dynamic.
yeah. So that's a new one. It's a new
And
expression.
we haven't addressed that one yet
Yeah.
because I'm still looking at that.
Yeah.
Not in just we got to bring them in one at a time for one. They know that.
Yeah.
But she did get a little stupid when from the other side of the room coming through the door. So I'm looking at that right now. I think in the beginning,
She's
just get
still
them out of sight.
recovering right now, so you have to be very careful how much
And that's
you
the
work with
problem,
her.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Did that happen after the surgery?
It
Or
was
did-
before the
was
surgery when
before
it started. Yeah. So now we were like completely trying to avoid, because we were trying to not, we don't want her to rip her stitches, and she also had the gastroplexy. So we're
Right.
we're trying to avoid all things. So she's been on a leash. She's sleeping now, but we've kept her on a leash, so she doesn't jump, she doesn't attack, she doesn't all the things, which she's been a little more in the crate because when Steve's here. So we're teaching her things that, look at me, and redirecting that attention away from when she's giving the side eye to one of the other dogs is nope, over here,
And I'm ensuring that obedience and compliance is not included with the look at me. There has to be, okay, with the Great Pyrenees or any dog, you can't make them do something. You have to make them want to do something. Okay. So it may sound like one word is nothing, but that's a big difference. Okay. That means you got to teach. Okay.
Well, and I interrupted your timeline of things. So I forget where you were, but please continue.
We start with secure attachment, helping the dog settling in, so the dog connects with the person, so he start taking instructions and support and feeling safe. Once we have that set, then we start putting together a family code of conduct. Let the dog understand what we do and what we not do. It starts with the very bottom line, meeting the dog's needs emotionally and emotional and biological needs. This is where the dog feels trustworthy. The 2 treat exercise helps the dog understand if he has something to struggle with. He's going to give you a look. It's like, I need your help. So you know when to step in. So what we do here is we teach the dog how to communicate, and us teaching the dog that we pay attention to the signals and reinforce the signals, even if that's growling. I want the growling to be reinforced, so the dog gives a growling if he feels like, right? If
Okay.
the growling is already a second step of avoidance behavior, people call it the ladder of aggression. It sounds so wrong because it's a dog tries to communicate to avoid problems, and at the end of the ladder is he runs out of options. He's not on the top of aggression, he just runs out of options.
Yeah.
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 And so
The
from
other
that
stuff isn't
perspective,
working,
so nutritional health, underlying medical condition, check. Emotional evaluation, how the dog feels about things, putting down a number of triggers, understanding the triggers, understanding the timeline of the triggers. So I would suggest for every event that happened, I have a document if you guys want. I call it the incident assessment, understanding exactly what happened, who was there, what happened before, what happened after, so we kind of get a matrix of behaviors that we can then put together. You can run it through AI and tells you what is the commonality of that, or everything happens at 3 o'clock. Bingo, the dog is hungry at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Feed him at 2, give him an in-between snack. And because the dog has issues there and likely that's trauma related, I would feed him 3 and 4 times a day. A little
Okay.
snack so we get the blood sugar straight.
Got it.
I know medical people hate me for not saying stupid things, but I want that underlying stress around food kind of being eased out.
Yeah, you've had better people than that hate you, right?
And then once that is set, and then we understand the triggers and we have the communication better, now we can start working on the therapy part. What is the dog triggered by? The dog is definitely triggered by presence.
Right.
So this is where the fake dog comes in.
Okay.
The body should feel comfortable having some other body next to them. Something that looks like a dog but is not a dog,
Okay.
right? Because the dog feels something next to him that looks like a dog, he may have negative experiences in the previous foster care or in the previous home. We don't know. It's not
Right.
being told. What if the puppy, early puppyhood, being attacked by his own siblings and carry an early puppy trauma from there? He doesn't
Well, I
trust
think-
anybody around him. What if his mom attacked him around food?
Yeah.
It
Let me
seems
tell you
there's something going on very early, because really it seems very intense for him to happen.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
what you just said about the sibling is a good possibility, because remember the feeding in the laundry room, isolation. Tammy sits with her and she eats without issue. But if a dog was going to be in there,
A dog
there
walks
would
by.
be no eating without issue.
If a dog
Okay.
walks by, because we have to, in order to not have a fight situation, we have to put our dogs in this room. This is my husband's office. The laundry room is the next door down, and then
Mhm.
we put them in here. We feed her, take her out to the crate, which is down in the kitchen.
A big routine.
Yes, it's every day. It's every feeding, anytime there's food, and we have to let her ramp down and leave her in the. It takes 10 to 20 minutes.
Right.
And the dogs can come out, but we just go about our business, so nobody's looking
And
at
I moved
anybody.
them back to feeding in the laundry room because the crate was the other option. It's just, she
It's
doesn't
worse.
feel safe eating.
It's
in
worse,
There.
yeah.
She doesn't feel safe eating in there. So we moved them back into the laundry room for now. But I think the fake dog, we can graduate to fake dog being in there also. Okay. And I didn't realize you had one.
Yeah, I think we talked about it before, but we
So
didn't.
before
we didn't
before
act on
feeding
that.
time, give your dog something to chew on. Get little no hide sticks. About
Yeah,
this size.
she's sleeping
Oh yeah, she's got some cool toys.
She
Okay, not
Did we
toys.
bore her to sleep?
She's
Did
got at least 25, 30 toys, but this is
Right.
her right now. Her current
I
favorite is
mean, they're called the brand is called No Hides from Earth Animal.
No Hides.
Yeah, no hide.
Right.
Okay.
So these are basically potato starch vegetable
That's
sticks
wonderful, thanks.
with chicken flavor or something like that.
Okay.
While she's expecting to eat, and she's expecting you to prepare it, and she knows that's going to happen, you already have a conditioned emotional response.
Right.
The dog goes into this like, yeah, it's going to happen again. Somebody's going to
Yes.
give her something
Yes.
to chew on to distract her and being busy with her own chew
Okay.
while you prepare the food.
Okay. Yeah, because
It's
she
like-
as soon as she hears the scooping of the food, she can hear it from the kitchen.
Right,
She
right.
starts to ramp up.
Shaking her head big time here.
Right. So now you give her a surprise exercise. She has something to chew on, so she can be busy with that, so she doesn't have to
Okay.
worry. Because as you blinking and scratching and doing and screeching and stuff like that, she already piles up with her frustration, and that causes a PTSD response.
Okay.
Remember the stress connected to the belly and frustration
Right.
and hunger? She's
Right.
hungry. She's hangry right now. She
Right.
would
Yes.
kill to eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the fat, whatever the beef thing
Beef
was,
taro.
That's
taro.
different. That's separate.
Right. So that's a lunchtime
Snack.
somewhere
That's
snack.
a
So
treat.
am I taking her to the laundry room for that as well? So she's not
Yeah.
having that ramp up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
Because
wherever
if
she
you
is,
want her
just
to
let the
give
dog
out
should
of
be
that,
away.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What
our
I do-
challenge is our dogs follow us everywhere we go. They're the other two are used to going wherever we are. Literally everywhere we are, they're within 6 feet or 10 feet of us.
Right. So that's the second part. You have to work on the separation anxiety because you need to set up boundaries, how much you're available or not. Because this dog's struggling if you are not available. And now you're having a weirdo dealing with it. And now they
Right.
want to protect you. Now they go where you go to protect you from the weirdo.
Right.
And you kind of put yourself in this weird thing
Okay.
situation.
Yeah, and we didn't know it because Cooper didn't care. Cooper and him Cooper and he got along fine, friends. You know, they hang out and no problem. But then we added in Coco, and that dynamic changed.
Right. Well, you
Yeah.
destabilized
Yeah,
yeah.
we were both together.
yeah,
Fine,
But
but
we
not,
also got to remember, I do know that Scout, the mix, I watched him trigger her. I saw him trigger her. So we got to do some work with him too. And
Yeah.
none of this is hard work. This is emotional work.
Well, he probably, and this is maybe my human feelings, is maybe he's looking at her as pulling our attention away from him potentially. I don't know.
That hit maybe she's stealing his attachment away.
Yeah.
That's I don't know for sure. I've never seen evidence that that's actually possible, but I've seen reactions that makes me think there's evidence that it's possible. So
I always give the example. Let's give an example. You have a partner and your other partner brings another partner in the household. How would you feel about that?
Yeah,
I would be
exactly.
shot if
That's
I
why
did
I said that.
Yeah.
That's why I said it might be a human thing, but that's how I would feel like if he was my best buddy and now somebody else comes in and we're not getting to spend all our time together, especially because she's so labor intensive that we have redirected. We've been trying to I take him in a separate room and play with him because he's sort of the squeaky toy has gone away because she takes the toy and that's his favorite thing. So I take him in a different room and play with him with that. So I feel like that some of that is sucking away his attention, from.
And that was one of the things I had to come down here to see. Is this a jealousy thing or is it a food thing? Or is this trigger stacking? Or do we have a bigger problem, bigger picture, which is what Roman's
Is there a box all of the above?
Yes, exactly.
and that is true. Now I want everybody to understand this that's watching the show, that this isn't just a rescue thing. This is a dog thing, no matter where they come from.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard somebody say, I will never get another dog from a rescue because those are broken dogs. They're not broken. Dogs don't break. They come from a situation where the humans were broken, not the dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to avoid rescue. And Roman's shaking his head. He agrees. Is there any new comments?
Do I look broken to you?
Oh, look who's up here, Roman. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I'm a complex trauma survivor. I get upset about things. I have my PTSD times. And do I look? No. But if the time comes, I'm not looking good. But I'm not broken. Bruised, maybe.
Now, that's how you get a hold of Roman if he makes sense to you. If he doesn't make sense to you, that's how you get a hold of Roman so you can ask him questions, okay? So, holisticdogtraining.org. Now, you do some workshops too, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I just finished my second workshop. The one is for guardian dogs, and the other one that's a new one is for Newfoundlanders. Because they're kind of close related, because Newfoundlanders have a breed line included from guardian dogs, Portuguese guardian dogs, and Mastiff breeds. So they kind of make a very interesting assembly, adding the retriever part to it. And so I see very similarities in their behaviors. And the Newfoundlanders also are very similar to the Swiss dogs. They have a similar line. And so all of them together makes a perfect workshop.
Awesome. And yeah, so that way you're not asking somebody to have you handle your livestock guardian breed like a poodle because that
Right.
doesn't, you don't handle them the same way.
So
Okay.
that basically self-paced online course has 8 hours of content. If I'm 7.5 hours of content plus documents plus
Now you're talking about
explanation
the
plus
new one, right?
diagrams.
That's the new one you just did?
Yeah, I have two of those. The Guardian dog and the Newfoundland dogs are similar in the
Guardian dog is
structure,
Great Pyrenees.
right? I just call them Guardian dogs because it's not just Pyrenees. They're all the Guardian dogs,
Akmaz,
Spanish,
the
Guardian dog,
Maremma, they all
Pyrenees,
fall.
Maremma, all these things come together. I do have a comparison at some point of the basic different type of breeds of the Anatolian, the European ones, to understand a little bit more the context, how those breeds are different, and especially for US, who we bring dogs from there and thinking they're going to be a great pets and don't think the whole thing through. Why would I need a fence? I have an invisible fence.
I'll tell
Right.
you what, the first one for the LGD parenting, that will benefit anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Roman asked me to go through it and check, make sure documents were stuff like that, just to check the content and the context. And so I got to go through that show. I mean, through that workshop. Man, that is awesome. There's a lot of valuable information in there for everybody. Okay. Experienced owners, trainers, even trainers. Did you fart?
She did. All of a sudden it got very smelly in here.
Steve, that was a nice move from you, blaming the dog.
she has
I have a
diarrhea
plastic
right now,
bag. It can't be
unfortunately.
me.
Yeah. She
So-
yeah, her meds and the situation I think are
and
caused her
I'm
a
pretty
little
sure
stomach
it
upset.
wasn't a human part. It just
Definitely
didn't
was not
smell
me.
like that. So, thanks, sweetheart. Somebody probably go potty.
Yeah,
But anyway, these workshops are just amazing. The content and the material that's in there, well, anybody that knows Roman knows that you never listen to Roman and don't walk away not learning something new. All right. So
Yeah, I
and
got
you
very good
did, you
feedback.
slept through it. Wow.
I have some break thoughts and ideas in there, and some people who are kind of like, I wouldn't say old school, but really bought into a specific type of approach, some kind of weird, like, this is so wrong. And I'm like, well, we have scientific evidence. It's not so wrong. It's possible, very likely possible. So we have to take that in consideration. We
Sure.
cannot prove the evidence to be against it. We have evidence that's for it. So therefore, I can take it and mention it because it's important to know about that.
Right. So you always remember the evidence that Rome is talking about. Um, Hopefully they continue to stay with it. And if they find something that, okay, maybe this is a little better, they're going to let us know that too. Give us something new to work with because Roman mentioned he doesn't like the term. I don't care for the term old school. All right. Because that's what we thought was right at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't advance with what we learn in the future, and you get stuck back there, the reason that we're moving forward is because that was least effective. Okay. That
In the
was
70s, we had 100 studies on dogs. Now we have 14,000.
yeah, right,
We
right.
have a long
Oh
way
yeah.
to go.
And not all of them are dog trainers. They don't have to be. Okay.
No.
They're not trying to tell us how to train. They're telling us what they learned. We take it from there. And
I mean, I have people asking me, well, you don't have German Shepherds. Why are you talking about German Shepherds? Because they're freaking guardian herding dogs.
yeah, yeah.
You don't have
So
to be a
if you're,
scientist for that.
I always tell everybody, if I ask you to do something and your dog doesn't respond, stop doing it and let me know. Don't keep trying because now that turns more into obedience and compliance, and a Great Pyrenees wrong breed for that. You don't bring Great Pyrenees or any dog into your home with a high expectation of obeying your beck and command. Okay.
Right.
Because remember, you can't make them do something. You have to make them want to do something.
You have to prove that what you want them to do is actually what benefits them, and they can see the entire picture. Why would he do something? Here's something better to do anyway.
Yeah. So, and that's just it. Just like a dog, if they steal your turkey carcass at Thanksgiving out of the trash, you better have the ability to trade them for that. And if you don't have a relationship in that respect, they're not even going to take a treat out of your hands. They're going to say, you know what, this is better than that. Well, we want it to be higher quality, higher value for the reasoning that it came from you. Okay. Not because of what it is. The
Right.
treat's not necessarily the reward. The offer from you is the reward. The treat is the jackpot of the reward. Okay. Am I close, Roman? I don't think you ever heard me say that before, have you?
No, I'm just full of ears. I'm trying to learn.
So am I. I'm trying to learn. Thank you for coming on. Was he helpful?
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, it's not
Yeah.
every week we come on and have the entire rescue show be about training and behavior, but it's real life. Okay. Nobody has the perfect dog, but we got to be reasonable with what's unwanted in behavior. We must be reasonable because the dogs can't make all the concessions.
Good.
So,
Well, it was nice seeing you guys today. I need to get going because I need to start my other online class, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Roman. Bye.
Bye.